All right, and welcome. This is Masculine Geek number 68. You know where you're at. You know what day it is. It is indeed Wednesday. One of the best days of the week, and one of the best shows, one of the best shows on the internet. So, prior to going live, TJ was giving us and recounting a story regarding his fireplace, and he's going to give you people some advice right now, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, you're gonna take it and like it. See,
That's right. So give it
Yeah.
to them. Give it to them. They got what's coming to them.
yeah, Courtney's for you. So, a couple years ago, I got a insert fireplace, and you're probably
Show the.
wondering-
Can you pan over or no? Get you an external.
that's
There you go.
fireplace.
There you go. Need to get you an external webcam once they're back in stock.
Yeah,
Ah.
and let's say stupid cables. There we go. Yeah. So, anyways, I got that installed, and it uses a stovepipe. Right, there's no chimney. And I ended up having it raised. So I put a box underneath it, a wood box that we built. So it's a foot up from the ground. Problem is that insert wood fireplaces like the one I got are much shallow. They're not as deep. They're shallow compared to a regular fireplace. They also don't have the same. It's limited and narrow where the heat and the smoke will go up, right? So you can easily, what is it called when you smoke yourself out? It's very easy to smoke yourself out with that.
Yeah.
The other thing it does is it spits, and maybe that's kind of the wood that I use, but it'll go right through the little chain guard that I put over that came with the fireplace. So the wood paneling on the floor around it is just covered with little spot marks where embers fell and burned through the wood a little bit. And I'm probably going to get I want to get a bigger screen that would cover it, but then it does consume a bit of heat for that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Just advice for guys who are interested in doing that kind of thing. I don't know. I had no idea about any of this stuff. I just thought, yeah, the only way to have a fireplace in your house is to have a chimney. And then somebody said, well, no, you can have it. They're zero clearance fireplaces, so you can put them directly up against a wall. And yeah, pretty much. Stovepipe. No, I have an antique Sears Roebuck boxwood stove. That's a cooking, like you can use it for cooking. I got that at a winery in town, and I still haven't set that up. I'm thinking about setting it up in the outbuilding outside. I was chatting with Cappy today. He was gracious enough to call, and we were plotting what I should do with my outbuilding, or whether I should make that
into an outhouse.
I'll say what?
Turn into an outhouse.
Crapper,
TJ, a crapper.
Oh,
an outhouse crapper.
Funny guy.
Ah.
So we'll see, but it's a lesson learned. If I could have done it differently, I would have gotten an insert wood stove, because you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. I wouldn't have had to, most of my problems have been the result. Like, I love the ambiance and the visuals, as you guys saw. It's really awesome when the fire is going, but you also have to really tend to a fire as opposed to a wood stove, where it's so what do you call it? Enclosed, that it doesn't need you to work like the wood and shift it around. Whereas with a fireplace, you really have to keep working it and make sure that because some of the wood will just fall to the side and then not burn. You got to poke it around or whatever. But yeah, lesson learned.
Cool. And for the record, with both Periscope and YouTube, you're not allowed to type in the word whore.
Whore?
At least not with the King's English. Yeah, it YouTube and Twitter thinks it's spam. So go ahead, try it. Try to type it in and send out. Try to say dirty whore. You can't do it. You have to use a different way to say it. So to answer Alex's question, what are you fuckers doing on so early? You know damn right well that every Wednesday,
This is what time we come on.
9 p.m. Eastern is our show. Now, don't let the random rogue broadcast fool you. They are when we want to go on. But, yeah. You slept into 1 p.m., you lazy motherfucker.
Kind of sounds like someone else I know, see?
Yeah. Oh, did you take did you whack off too? Did you jerk it? You and Aaron. 4-hour nap. Thank you, Bacon. Oh, okay, cool. Also, YouTube censors can pretty much. I don't. It's not a human being. Their algorithms are all fucked up. But yes, I mean, fundamentally, YouTube is ridiculous.
It's the Karens.
Yes. No, Alec. It is a little after 9 p.m. Eastern over here in New Jersey. Excuse me. Seriously. Clara is missing in action today. He didn't broadcast today.
It's probably because he's on his way to my state.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I know. He hit me up earlier and he's like, hey, I'm going to be over in this area if you want to come down and, give you an excuse to ride your bike and go for a hike. And I'm thinking, I got to work.
I know, right? Way to give you some heads up. I
mean, he actually, to be in all fairness, he did give me a little bit of heads up because this is still honestly about a week away, I think, or at least a good 5-6 days when he first gets here. But at the same time, it's like, I can't take time off right now because between the pandemic and a major upgrade that we're doing at my job, the rest of May and all of June, I can't take time off.
Yeah, same with me. I just, this is not, if the COVID Nova 6 thing wasn't going on, I would probably be able to do it, pull it off. But, this is the one downside to working the job that I do is that there's there's no fat on the bone.
Nope.
So you can't really rely on the bureaucracy. Like if you're working for Google or Microsoft and you go, then you're gone on vacation. Life goes on, right? Because there's tens of thousands of other people. But now, when you're working for a small little outfit and you're gone, things just it's like taking out one section of a mousetrap.
Gotcha.
TJ just wants to be modern life Nipple.
There you go. Modern life Nipple, see?
Oh, they're adorable. Let me get my robe.
That's right. Get your robe and some gold chains.
I'll show you. Give me my shoes.
Well, that's a new way of putting it, Bacon. I haven't thought about that before. YouTube's lower semen receiver. That's actually pretty good.
YouTube's lower semen receiver. As compared to their upper semen receiver, yes. That's the day off for that one, yeah.
Well, the upper semen receiver would be the nostrils.
Yes, and that's the day off.
Yeah, I'm applying. I'm gonna play the part of Tom Cruise's son. Except I'm gonna get a far more attractive woman than he did in his movie.
Yeah, right.
God. Oh my God.
What do you mean you're on impromptu vacation, Bullrush? I thought for sure that because of the pandemic and all of that you guys would be just inundated and swamped with work because of all the sick, dying people. Apparently not.
Nope. It's because there's nobody dying.
And they're not that sick either, apparently.
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask. I got an informal poll going on here that I've been asking people that I know in real life. Do any of you, TJ, Vince, do any of you guys know someone personally that's had COVID?
Personally,
not a guess, not a guess, not like, well, they think or they might have. No,
a friend of mine's uncle died from it, but he was close to 70 and most likely was in poor health.
Okay.
So, I mean, as someone my age or younger,
but do
No.
you know someone personally that has gotten COVID? No.
Nope.
EJ, how about you?
Nope.
Yes, I have a relative who is 85 years old, diabetic, and they survived, and they were exposed.
And they were diagnosed with COVID.
Yeah, it was confirmed.
Okay, then you are the first person that I know that knows somebody who has been diagnosed with COVID. You're the first one, TJ, and I've asked all my friends, everybody I know, random strangers. I mean, I'm doing the man on the street. Hey, do you know anyone that's had COVID? No. Do you know anyone that's known anyone that's had COVID? No. And it's like, fuck, I think this is all a hoax, guys.
Well, I mean, I didn't want to say this on Twitter, but I'll say it now. People were saying, what's your craziest conspiracy theory about COVID-19? Like the virus. And I go, there is no virus. That's the ultimate conspiracy theory. But
just say it, TJ. Just go there.
I'm just like, it's like how many times can I say the same thing? Is that, so with that quote from Patton that I said on Twitter earlier today, when
I haven't been on Twitter today, so I have no idea what you said.
I will be genuinely brief. So in the film Patton, they're invading Sicily. They're stuck on this one-lane road trying to get his army moved up through Sicily. So he plans an amphibious landing behind the enemy lines that ends up being very costly. He gets chastised about this, and he turns to the general chastising him and says, General, it's time we calculate how many casualties we would have had if we'd still been crawling along that one-way road. The point was, yes, we lost people coming from, landing behind enemy lines, right? That was a costly, but we would have lost more if we hadn't done it, right? So how many people have died as a result of this quarantine compared to how many who would have died from if they'd been exposed? Like that, at the very least, that is a legitimate question, but we're not even allowed to ask that question. It's like, no, it would have totally been worse if we had to. Okay,
the interesting thing about this is, if say none of this had happened and we were coming out of flu season, and Rob had asked the same question, it's the same thing. Like, hey, do you know when had the flu and died, or got really sick, or whatever?
Yeah.
Fucking stupid.
It's a flu, and I'm just trying to understand what we'll see.
It's like we mentioned before. It's an election year.
Bingo.
That's that. And if anyone wants to come, I don't fucking care. I don't care. It's an election year, and we're done with this. It's an election year. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to say more about the Kung Flu. Kung Flu. It's an election year. And just in anything, in any endeavor, it's almost like a murder mystery. Okay.
Yes.
Seriously, it is. It's what are the three things in a murder mystery that's the impetus behind it? Women, money, politics / power. If you just follow that and hold that in your head, when everything that you do, you're going to arrive at your answer eventually. So This is just like, we're just fucking jerking each other off with this fucking COVID, Kung Flu fucking bullshit. It's an election year. That's what it is.
I mean, but this is not like, this is just completely gutting state economies, and it's not being done. And the problem is, rhetorically, they're going to say, oh, it's Donald Trump's fault. He did not close the states down. The states did that themselves. And rhetorically, he can throw that back at them and say, I'm not the one who said, like, in fact, he said the opposite. He said, liberate Michigan, right? So for them to do that.
You damn meddling kids. Get off my internet.
Too, if it wasn't for you meddling kids and your dog.
Get off my internet lawn, you fucking punks. But
you're right, TJ. it's stupid.
It is.
That's
What
what
states? What states have opened up now? I think it's Tennessee, Arkansas, or
Like
Alabama.
completely opened up?
Not completely, but
Because
people were
Utah
actually
hasn't completely
someone was just saying, "Hey, I went to Alabama or some shit, and I was sitting in a restaurant outside, and there's no masks and nothing." I don't know how true that is. I can't doubt the veracity of that statement, but
interesting.
yeah.
Here in Utah, we still have a bunch of lemmings wearing their masks, and half the population's not wearing masks and kind of going about their business. The other half are being zombies and hiding behind locked doors and wearing masks. And I'm seeing idiots wearing masks in their cars with their windows rolled up. It's like, really? Dude, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You know how we always talked about the zombie apocalypse, and then it became, well, the zombie apocalypse is all the morons with their cell phones, staring at their phones as they're walking into traffic. Now the zombies are wearing masks. So it's like, there's a zombie. Take that one out. They're easy to identify now. And they're slow moving too.
Well, so here's what happened. My relative, as he had recovered, he was fine. He'd been he was no longer contagious. And he lives in it's not a senior living center. It's a place where you buy condos at a fixed price. Like, it doesn't change. Yeah. So he goes to do a grocery run, and he comes back, and someone had slapped a quarantine sticker on his door. What? And apparently some Karen.
As a joke?
No, they were dead serious.
Really?
Or something basically saying you're not supposed to leave your apartment or your place. And it was some lady who was and he left it 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. He left it at very unusual, and the person who identified him, saw him leave, is on the other side of this place. So she must have been watching him continually
with binoculars.
No, I'm
taking notes.
Mm-hmm. And so, it's she was freaking out. And then, of course, she proceeded to call. First of all, they talk about gun control, and how dangerous it is for men to have guns.
Yeah.
You give the wrong woman a cell phone or a phone, she'll cause more damage in 10 minutes than you can possibly imagine. So she picks up the phone and starts calling everyone in the I don't want to say complex, but just the whole area, saying that he had left and he was going to infect people and all this other stuff. And it's what are you going to do? There's nothing you could do about it. No. So they, of course, think first of all, it's not their business to top it off, but they probably thought he was still contagious or still because they don't know. They're a bunch of old people, I hate
the old fuckers. What do they know?
Well, they don't. They sit around and watch Fox
News and CNN and all that fucking toilet swill.
Cox News.
Cox News, yeah, all of it.
Jesus.
And so, they of course think he's going and spreading it around. So one of them unironically put a quarantine sticker and it was one that's supposed to look official, you're not allowed to leave your house type thing.
That's fucking insane. What the?
Mm-hmm.
I actually went hiking on Sunday, and it was great because there was a bunch of other people on the trail, and that trail is still closed. So it's we all understood that, yeah, but the weather's beautiful and we're going to go hiking.
All right. Yeah, this weekend's supposed to be at least around here. Let's see what we got. In fact, tomorrow is going to be in the 70s, I think.
I check the weather.
So Friday is going to be sunny and 84. Saturday, partly sunny and 76. And Sunday, cloudy and 64. So I will be outside majority of the weekend.
Wretched luck. It's going to be 64 and rainy this weekend.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, it's a good thing I went hiking. I mean, I can always. Here's the thing. I love.
Will you hike? Will you hike and put on rain gear and hike in the rain?
Oh, I've hiked in the rain all the time. I
actually enjoy that.
Yeah, I like it because you don't sweat as much and you don't overheat. You know.
Agreed, Bull Rush. You should get on, like, completely do those t-shirts. Someone go create a t-shirt site. Well, make the logo first, and then go create your site.
So yeah, I
Wait, what?
I was gonna say, I love Pacific Northwest weather where it's kind of cold, moist, and the little bit of rain. That's kind of the weather I'm meant for. And there's a lot of that on the west side, not so much in Central Washington, but that's what I liked about living there. So, I like hiking through, on trails, up mountains. Like there's that mist, like the whole Misty Mountains, Lord of the Rings thing.
Oh, yeah.
Completely what I saw hiking.
Look at Rob.
I'm going to work with this tomorrow.
You should completely go to work with that on tomorrow. It's fucking great. That's like the one I have for my motorcycle.
Yeah, that's kind of what this is.
Yeah, nice.
I'm going to show up in this. I'm going to go to the banks wearing this. And
put some sunglasses on too, so they can't see your face at all.
Yeah, there we go. Hang on. Yeah, hang on.
Put the sunglasses on. Here you go. Wait for it. That's it. That's the look we want. That's the look we want on Masculine Geek.
There we go.
Let's make Rob. Let's give him. All right. So tell us, Rob, how is it in Utah these days?
It's rough, Vince. Everybody's got to wear a mask because the coronavirus is killing everybody. It's rough here. All I need to do is fire up a voice changer, and then I can really do it.
Yeah, seriously.
So I could do something like that. But this is what I'm going to start wearing at the hospitals. I'm going to start wearing this mask with my fucking beanie. And then that way when they go, you're wearing a mask. Yes, I'm wearing a fucking mask.
You got to do that. You need to wear a GoPro too to register everyone's fucking reaction.
Wouldn't that be the best?
Oh, that would be really good.
Yep. So kids, this is the mask. This is what you need to get yourself. This is what we're all going to start wearing. If we got to wear masks, let's at least wear masks that are entertaining or something.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it.
I like it. It's funny when you talk. The way it's clinging to your mouth, it looks like the skull mouth is moving.
Oh, that's the idea.
Nice. Okay. Well done.
The point.
Well,
yeah, that's why I had to go. It wasn't doing old man bladder shit. I had to go throw the mask on.
Old man bladder.
It's like, hey, I'm going to throw this mask on and go fuck with everybody. If everyone's got to wear a mask, this is the mask I'm wearing.
I like it.
God damn it. So there.
Nice.
You're all being watched. You're all quarantined because you're all sick. Yes, Bollards. I do them for $49.95.
$49.95.
Yes.
Gotcha. Do you lead bank robberies too?
Well, that's an extra. That's a course. I got a course for that.
Are you just the getaway driver?
Well, I'm the mastermind. I orchestrate.
Gotcha.
I'm like Cobra Commander. I got to keep my face hidden.
Yeah, if the weather's bad enough this weekend, I'm going to end up watching, speaking of Cobra Commander, I'm going to watch G.I. Joe.
Yeah?
The movie or the cartoon?
Oh, the cartoon.
Yeah, the cartoon was pretty cool growing up. There was another cartoon I liked too called Mask, which is pretty cool too. I like the music. But anyway, yeah, that'll be good. Now, I forget how many seasons did that run? Was it just one?
No, there was a couple seasons.
G.I. Joe? No, there's like 2 or 3 seasons of G.I. Joe.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I don't remember. It's been a while.
The thing with G.I. Joe was funny is I was watching some of them and like the quality compared, like Batman, the animated series, the storytelling was just so much better. Like G.I. Joe is just mindless 1980. It's like watching Commando or Rambo Part 2, right? It's not particularly clever, right? Whereas you're watching Batman and they're examining, multiple personality disorder or split personality disorder, or, they're doing all these, like, there's all these references to, classical literature and all that kind of stuff. And I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen on G.I. Joe. I have a feeling. Like they're not going to be quoting William Blake's Tiger.
Burning Bright.
Yeah.
That's true.
I learned a lot of stuff from Batman, like as far as like literature, the number of lines like that they quote in some of those episodes. I was just like, this is supposed to be a kid. Then of course there's the episode where they start talking about the meth house in Gotham. No joke. That guy, what's his name? That one fat detective.
I know you're talking about. He's
Harvey.
Harvey, yeah. He kind of sounds like John Steele in our chat. I've heard John Steele talk us. He could be Harvey.
Yeah, well, anyway, so he's chatting with Batman about something. He's like, yeah, this guy works down in one of the meth houses in downtown. And I was like, whoa, this is a kid's. How are you able to get away with this?
Yep. Yeah, cartoons really aren't for kids. I mean, the ones now are just pure shit. But growing up in the 80s, the
retards.
Pretty much. But the cartoons we grew up with in the 80s, they were just completely above kids' heads.
Well, even like I was saying with Mighty Max, I mean, there was a cartoon show that came out when I was a kid, and it was violent. I mean, you had people getting murdered by vampires and werewolves. You had like dark, I don't want to say satanic stuff, but just a lot of dark, like monsters and stuff that gives kids nightmares.
Mm-hmm. That's the way to do it.
I guess where John was asking about anti-personnel caliber, mine would be 45 ACP or a 40.
Uncle Grandpa. I was like watching. There was a couple of cartoons that I was like, somebody was high when they wrote this, and then the others, I was like, somebody was high. Yeah, Gargoyles.
Gargoyles is pretty cool. I enjoyed
another one that was actually pretty witty was Darkwing Duck, which I have. I have Darkwing Duck. And,
I am the terror that flaps in the night.
His analogies were pretty funny.
Yeah.
What are bollards?
There's like they look like cement posts or a blockade to stop vehicles from going through.
Oh yeah. I was about to say, I was like bollards. I was thinking of ballards.
Yeah, you'll see them a lot on a dock, or sometimes at concert venues to keep cars from hopping up on the sidewalk. Yeah.
So what geeky things have you guys been up to this week?
I've been assembling and ordering new miniature paint supplies. If you saw my Instagram, and I don't know if I tweeted about it, but I definitely threw it up on Instagram and in the last newsletter too. So, yeah.
Look, yeah, I've got my collection of figurine type stuff, but we'll see what I'm still trying to read that book by H.G. Wells on the rules.
I'll send you. I want like a classic copy of it. I didn't want this Kindle version. It's nice. I got it for free, but I want something like a book because I love the title. Hop on abebooks.com. It's like
Hop on Abe Books.
No, not. Just go to abebooks.com, not hop on abebooks.com. God damn it, TJ. You damn kids. Do I have to do everything?
Let him burn. Let him figure it out, Vince.
That's right. You have to burn, TJ. You got to figure that fucking internet shit out for yourself. But abebooks.com, it's essentially eBay. Well, without the auction. It's all books, all over. People want to sell vintage books, all kinds of manuscripts and things like that. What's going on in the comments? Fucking cocks.
Aaron's Gargamel. No shit.
Gargamel.
from the Smurfs. I know.
I know. I was
exactly what
just
you're talking about.
just thinking about
And
that.
just the mannerisms and all that. It's like, oh my god, it is too. Fucking Aaron is Gargamel. No shit.
We have a wonderful troll in the chat. I already put his ass in timeout.
Oh, that guy there, Modern Life Bloating.
Yep.
Are we sure that's not John?
I mean, it could be.
Could be.
It could very well be with his own little.
You know, John's John, and so it could be. John takes on many guises, many faces, many names.
If that is John, he has to prove it by sending me
a nipple.
Sending me a nipple. Sending me a Telegram message saying that's him. Otherwise, I'm gonna shove that son of a bitch in and out of timeout like the child that he is. It is funny though.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Like I said, it's like when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons when you're a kid, and no matter what name you come up with, some asshole in the group will find a way to like mock it and twist it. So it doesn't matter what the name is. You might as well just call yourself blank because your name is going to get fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, then they just call you a blankety blank blank.
Yeah, pretty much. Or you can circumvent it and you can use the disarming technique only in words and actually make up something semi-funny or still be serious about make something semi-funny yourself so no one can pervert it along the way.
I don't know if that's possible.
I'm already perverted, but yeah, but names. DD names are notorious.
Aldemar, I thought, worked pretty well.
No, Aldemar's good. Doe porn. It was definitely the Modern Life nipple part of that. It was definitely the nipple part of Modern Life nipple. Because what happened was we set off the show twice, and in both times it was the nipple that set it off. I don't think it was it wasn't the doe ass. No.
Boy, because I'll tell you, we got shut down quick when it happened too.
Well,
like, in a matter of a couple of minutes tops.
I pulled the video off from StreamYard anyway, so I still have those. We'll add those as bonuses for our Patreons.
It's never a dull moment when John shows up, though.
That's true.
Never a dull moment. Something's up.
John's a good guy.
Yeah, it's always something.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a lightning rod for takedowns or something. Because it's only happened when he's been on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That is true.
Yeah.
We also get our most dislikes too.
Yeah. So we know who's doing that. We know who's doing
it's
that.
like come on.
Can you imagine how sad that is? How sad your life has to be that you're literally following a person around on the internet so that you can basically say, I don't like you. And it's like, when you do that, bitch, you're a fan. Just get over it and just admit it. You have a hard on for the guy and you want to fuck him. That's all it is. Seriously.
Yeah. Anyways, as far as geek stuff, I bought Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, I think you mentioned that. Did you play it?
Yeah, I played through the single player and I've been doing the special ops. The thing is, I've always loved doing the cooperative special ops where you're working with your buddy and you're holding stuff off. So there's like this collaboration type thing going on. Whereas when you're I know I'm walking into this trap, so just when you're playing with yourself,
when you're playing with your swimsuit area,
when you're playing with yourself, it's not as fun.
No, TJ, I think it's better worded maybe by yourself or you're running the game solo.
Yeah, when you're playing solo, it's not as fun.
There you go. Well, we could mock that one too. But yeah, I've never played those games. Well, I played Halo.
I know.
That was cool.
We could do a running joke where I just ask you, Vince, you play Call of Duty, right?
I was actually waiting for that for you to ask me that again.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh, Rona.
Right.
Oh god.
You know what I want to do is I want to walk into a grocery store
and just start coughing uncontrollably.
No. No, not where it's forced or you're like where it's natural. Like, you take a bunch of pepper and you just throw it into your nose, right? So then you just start uncontrollably sneezing and everybody freaks out. Oh, you know what would be the funniest prank is if you and a buddy went and you like sneeze, like you went to hug each other in a store, give each other like a high five or whatever. You both sneezed and then you wiped it with your hands and then shook hands.
Yeah, right. That's where you do the mall rat's stink palm. You should see yourself, a grown man with his hand down his pants.
Right.
You wipe your ass and then shake someone's hand with it.
Yeah.
It's the Rona.
Exactly.
My Corona.
That's right. And there's we mentioned this a few minutes ago, abebooks.com.
Yeah, I'm on it right now.
You can find vintage paperbacks. I'm into a lot of the vintage erotica and porn. Obviously, that's where I sourced that from. If anyone wants some examples of titles, email me at masculinegeek. Go to the contact page. But yeah, you can get pretty much anything. I'll also get my Doc Savage books there too if I don't find what I need at my local bookstore. And that's another thing too. I think I mentioned that in one of my books essays on the website. Go find local bookshops in your area that, for the most, fundamentally will curate well. And if they do, chances are they have a pretty robust online presence. They'll find books for you. So it's not that hard. What's the oldest one I have? It goes back to like the late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be on here.
No.
Which sucks, but oh well. I'll bookmark it and return at a later date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a lot of vintage magazines from there too. Old Dragon magazines, sci-fi magazines. Yeah, it's pretty cool. What's up, Atham? Victivus, yes, it can be expensive.
You want an expensive hobby? Take up motorcycling.
Well, that too. Yeah, I know. I'll be buying an Indian, Rob.
Nice.
Yep. As soon as this fucking shit is over, I'm going to pick up a Scout.
Nice.
Still a cave diver. That's right, he is.
Hey, I like Chest's idea.
What's that?
New business idea. I'll be your wife. I will call you and berate you to get you out of conversations or other boring circumstances with a socially acceptable excuse. Damn wife.
There you go. It's like you're just a wingman, but from a distance.
That's it. So, I can hit a button and then Chesty calls me and I'm like, oh, hey guys, I gotta go. The wife's on the phone. I gotta take a 4-hour nap, masturbate. I gotta go. Pull an Aaron Clary. So,
any hobby can be expensive. It depends on what you're buying.
Well, yeah. Speaking of Aaron Clary, Aaron has funded.
We're talking about Aaron now.
Yeah, you're talking about. I gotta call a wife. Hey, Aaron has graciously funded 2 of my new pipe purchases that will be arriving in a few days that I will be showing off on the show.
So
what would you have to do? Promise not to make. Would you have to do? Promise not to make any more memes of him?
No, he lost the bet between me and him over Bond. So he had to pay me. He had to pay me the shekels.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that was what $50, right?
Yeah, it was $50.
Nice.
And well, I'm not going to make a big deal about it, but I think there was supposed potentially, I cannot remember because he called me at 6 a.m. in the morning.
And you answered.
Well, I was like thinking, okay, yeah, he's like something must have come up. So I answered the phone. And of course, he starts going on, is that really your favorite Bond movie? And all this stuff.
Did that keep him up overnight? Is that like what happened with that?
Dude, I think I've said this to you and to maybe Rob as well, but I got a family friend that is they're a boomer, so shock when I say that Aaron talks exactly like him when they talk to me, and they would make probably the exact same point about Bond as him.
I think Aaron talked like that when he was a kid.
Yeah, but my point is, like, when I talk to him, sometimes he's saying things like, if I was talking to this guy I've known since like he was like an honorary uncle, I would not know the difference. If it was just a transcript of a phone call, it would basically be the exact same word. So it's kind of like, sometimes I'm just laughing at what he says because I'm thinking, are you guys like lost brothers? Is this like a doppelganger type thing that's going on? So it's funny. But he lost the bet. I've lost very few bets when it comes to movies.
I'll be guided by that and never wager a movie bet on you. Oh, fuck.
To answer Bull Rush's question that he asked way back, that is the battle flag that was used by the Knights Templar. So they had two different flags. They had the flag that they had for just ceremonial stuff, and then there was the one they actually took into battle. So that's that one.
Yeah, I have. I wear in one of them in a rosewood necklace.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Necklace,
I have a bunch of other.
Small.
Then people are wondering, why do you have that flag up? Well, I have a "Don't Tread on Me" flag. I got the Betsy Ross flag that's flying outside. I've got the Whiskey Rebellion flag that's flying outside, but I kind of like this flag better right now.
Beat off the Bond. Carl's getting frisky over here. I like it.
Well, Carl's getting frisky, and Sasta's gonna go wash his hair.
I think we all have to wash our hair with this fucking Kung Flu pudwackery.
Yeah,
John, that does look like the Iron Cross. It's not, but it does.
Yeah, that was another thing. People were asking me if that was. I was like, yeah, got it. Tear it down and bring in the "Don't Tread on Me" flag. But then I decided, you know what? People need to Atham look that up. Like people have got to be a little intellectually curious on that kind of stuff.
Well, they don't have to, but it would behoove them to do it because it enriches your life that much more.
I did one of my earliest podcasts was on this. There was so Seattle has a very strong Norwegian heritage, right? Culturally, the huge number of Norwegian immigrants they helped. I mean, they kind of really
they've been overrun by SJWs. What a bunch of sissies.
Well, they're Scandinavian, so they are SJWs.
Oh, well, there we go. That's all we need to know.
Yeah. So, but so anyway, so you will see a lot of Norwegian flags flying from people who descend from Norwegian. Well, this one famous author from New York who was a transplant, an out of towner, saw her neighbor flying the Norwegian flag. She called up the Seattle Times and reported it as flying the Confederate flag.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, first of all, the Confederate flag uses St. Andrew's cross, which is a completely different type of cross, totally different colors. There was stars on it. I'm thinking, how do you mistake this? And then also, did you not Google it before calling the Seattle Times and were saying, "Hey, my neighbor has the Confederate flag. You want to check that out?" So there's that kind of the retardation that goes on. When people look at flags like, "Oh, Iron Cross."
Pretty much.
Yeah.
People.
I've learned that most people react emotionally to stuff that even if it has nothing to do with it, they just, whatever it is, They're crazy.
It's their 15 minutes of fame.
Well, the Karens, the clash of the Karens.
It can be. Don't get Rob riled up now. You can't mention Legacy or Karens anymore. Just don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, well,
No, you can mention Karens. I don't care.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I read Rob wrote. Fair enough. Here's the thing. When someone who I know is holding the majority opinion, and that opinion warrants putting you in a locker or in a padded room, I get frustrated because I know that their view is going to be the dominant one when it comes to setting public. Like the reason we're all in lockdown right now is because of Karen-itis, like the Karen virus, right? As opposed to, I'm done.
Oh no, Rona, you got the Rona.
As opposed to if we didn't have that as a problem, people would say, yeah, if you're old, quarantine yourself. If you're infected, quarantine yourself. Everyone else, get back to work. But instead, we're going to shut down the economy, guys. And all your rights just went out the door.
That's the biggest one for me right there.
Yeah.
It's like, the economy, I mean, obviously, the longer it goes on, the worse it gets, the longer it takes to come back. But over enough time, the economy will come back. It will. Okay. But it's what few rights and freedoms do we still have left that we are going to give up so that we can wear masks and be in our little padded, protected bubbles?
It's funny you're mentioning this, Rob, and it reminds me of something like this. Go back pre-internet, all right, and just think of all the asylums. Remember we had asylums?
Yeah.
Now, okay. Dump internet and social media on an asylum. This is what we have now. Okay. And unfortunately, those are the loudest voices that are getting the attention, and we're catering to them. It's like a little retarded kid that you have to constantly mind.
Well, no,
but
dude,
just all it does is waste your time. But you just to keep it centered and keep it calm, you have to cater to it.
Yeah. No, it's.
There comes a point that you have to let the little retarded kid go out the door and go play in traffic.
It's sort of like it's
the young child can use a few days in the real world.
Yeah, what is like George Carlin said. It's the kid that eats the most marbles doesn't grow up to eat, have kids of his own. The problem is some people go, oh God, that's horrible. We can't do that. We have to save everybody because love is love.
It's mercy.
Yeah, because love is love and everyone's the same and blah, 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 fuck you. No, if you're an idiot and you do dumb shit, well, guess what? Nature should phase you out. That's the way it works. But nature's not. We're not allowing nature to take its course and to phase out retards. So we're stuck with retards on social media with a voice.
Well, not rather than ignore them on social media, but in general. Well, It is that old saying, the meek shall inherit the earth. The fucking A, here we are, because that's what's running around, big daddy government, save me from myself and everybody else. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at it going, if this bug is real, which I'm very I find it highly suspect, but let's just assume it is. It's nature thinning the herd. Just like predators in the wild, they don't go after the fastest and the strongest. They go after the sick, the weak, the very young, and the very old. Right. That's what they do. That's nature. Let's let nature do its thing. Mm-hmm. That's what, even my dad, who is 70 years old, that was his words. It was cull the herd. And my dad is one of these at-risk guys given his age. And he's like, fuck it. If it's my turn, then it's my turn. He goes on with his life. He's like, I'm not wearing a mask. Well, I'll go and do what I want to do. And so he goes and does what he wants to do.
Yeah. Most people, or not most people, but there's just, this is why, for people who have always been wondering, this is why I've been always kind of anxious, because I understand I've gotten I've seen the business end of just how broken a sufficient number of people in this country are, where there's nothing you can think of that is beyond the pale for them to buy into. And so any day like we're experiencing could be the day where they decide that, everybody needs to be branded like cattle, in order to just be able to go out and about, or where they think that you going out into the middle of the wilderness, where it's like the most sparsely populated area in the world, and they think that that's endangering lives. Like these people are just genuinely.
Well, they're retarded. Well, and Bacon's makes a funny point, but just so they can continue. That's fine if you want to keep them alive. Just they're not allowed. They're not allowed to vote. You can't vote. You're not allowed to vote, and you're limited. It's like when you're a kid. When we were growing up, I had my first Atari. I don't know how old. I was very young. We were told, my brother and I, you're allowed 1 hour a day. Okay, so no voting, no driving to keep your retarded ass off the road. No voting, no driving. And number 3, any kind of internet or social media, 1 hour a day. Okay, that's
I want to limit it to even less than that. I don't want to say 1 hour a fucking day.
Well, there's some
1 hour a
take.
week.
Yeah, it's
1 hour a week, and that hour's got to be between the hours of, say, 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, because I'll be at work then, and so I'm not going to be on social media, and so I'm not going to ever see the fuckers. But there you have it. Once a week, has to be a weekday between the hours of 10 to 2, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pick your hour once a week, go spurg out, do your thing, and then you're done for another week. You get to shut the fuck up now.
There you go. Carl makes a good point. I have a feeling that if all governments, state governments said, you know what? Okay, we have a problem, and they were just adult about it. They're actually men, okay? And they said, we have a problem. Here it is. They said, it would help. We think it would help if you wore this mask. I'll bet you people will be like, yeah, that's fucking reasonable. I don't have to, but all right, I'll wear the mask. I'll do it. Maybe they won't wear it in this situation, but they'll wear it in this one.
Right.
That wouldn't be a problem. Except you have these paramilitary fucktards arresting people. No, that's not how it works. There's a constant. You have to respect the heritage of the Constitution. Okay. Very firmly rooted heritage and where we come from. You can't be doing that shit. So I think if they went about it that way, and actually give us and giving us information that, one, it makes sense and is true.
Well,
it's a goddamn election year.
Well, then we need to start shaming the biggest way to fix the country's problems would be to just strip the franchise for, I'd say, 90% of the population. Then that's being generous. Like, in Athens, I was about to say Athens.
Look that shit up.
In Athens, I could be wrong, but I think it was 5% of the population voted in a democracy, because you had to own property, you had to be a man, you had to be a free man. So yeah,
we needed skin in the game. Yeah,
you need to have skin in the game. So yeah, you need to just strip the franchise and voting for most people. Then their opinion just doesn't matter. Yes, Karen can Karen all she wants. She doesn't get to vote. Her voice, she can.
And it wasn't just skin in the game. It wasn't just owning land and actually being fucking productive.
Yeah,
but it was also these were men that were involved in their community, for good or for ill. They were involved in the community and the well-being of it, presumably.
Right, and I think that would solve a lot of issues, because this is the problem with mass democracy and like extended franchise, is that every idiot's opinion matters. And this is like having democracy for...
it obviously doesn't. We just talked about retards.
Yeah, well, but I would say they matter because their vote, the vote of the Karen, is as...
What if the Karen is worth less than a piece of shit?
Yeah, well, the Karen vote, each Karen vote counts just as much as that of a guy who knows his stuff, has studied his history, has thought a lot about,
which is usually based off emotion and whether or not the guy looks good enough.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day as far as freedom is concerned and what it actually means.
Doesn't mean shit anymore.
Well, it doesn't, but there's a responsibility that comes with freedom. And what do I mean? Yeah. And what do I mean by that? Well, there's a personal responsibility. And the
Yes.
majority of retards they want to be taken care of. We've always talked about women fundamentally, or have a submissive side. Well, guess who's, as Rob had pointed out, big daddy governments out there. Big daddy governments, the dom. They love this shit. Oh, here, safety, everything. Government, just take care of everything. Take care of everything.
Right.
You don't have to worry about it. And then you have manginas who are going the way of the submissive woman. A male feminist, a mangina, is essentially a female submissive. That's basically what he is.
So he's a Frenchman who fought with the Germans.
Well, I mean, don't come out too hard on the French. I mean, the French gave us wine and cheese. I mean, we can appreciate
That's
it.
true.
For that.
They
I mean, they did. I mean, they contributed.
Napoleon.
Yeah,
I'm saying Frenchmen who decided to take up arms after their country was conquered. Like when we invaded North Africa, the first troops that we fought were French. They were not German. They were French troops that were fighting on the Axis side. Anyways, point taken is that these people think that they should have power and privilege without any of the responsibility, right? Which is what also frustrates me is people.
You're part French, so you're a poufta.
Well, no, it's like when the Italians fought on the German side even after the country had surrendered to the Allies. My point is, like, you're fighting against your own interests as part of your identity. Like a male feminist, this is like it's like I don't know. I can't think of anything like comparable to a male feminist, but that's probably speaks to their depravity.
A Karen is a male feminist. They're the same.
Yeah,
they hold hands.
Yeah, they do. They want to be. They want
to hold hands with the male feminists.
they want free shit, and they want to be taken care of by a dominant man. It's disgusting. True. It's disgusting.
God,
it's true though. If you look at something on a microcosm level, it almost translates macrocosmically. I don't know if that's a word or not. I just made it up. I'm a writer. I can do that.
Sounds good to me.
Right there, you go. If you look at it's okay. Well, it's like, you know what? All these women I've met are, they have a submissive streak. Well, large population of women, submissive streak. Okay. Well, want to be taken care of, and men aren't doing it. Or they don't know how, or they can't, or they're just too many retards running around. Okay, well, the government. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, look at any authoritarian government or movement, the communist, socialist, whatever it is. They're always pushing for universal franchise because it's Pareto's law, right? The 20% of the population is where the
My Moorish ancestry is totally destroyed any kind of French ancestry I might have, so I don't have to worry about it now. Yeah. It's all been DNA cycled out of my system, so I have no fear of that. It's a good one though. It's actually not bad. Oh, you're Sicilian too? Okay, cool. Your grandmother's maiden name was French. Oh, all right.
Have a good night, Carl.
Take it easy, Carl.
Enjoy the replay with your coffee.
Don't take any wooden nickels, and do not let the bed bugs bite. And you're welcome. You don't let the communists.
Don't let the communists in. No, No, but that's why they do that's why they do the universal franchise, is because 80% of the population is the consuming side. 20% of the population is the productive side. Well, if you get the entire population to vote, then you can just offer to steal from the small productive side and give it to the consuming side. You'll never lose. You will never lose in an election in this country offering free stuff. You just never will. But you have to keep it within, I'd say, rhetorically within the realm of reason. Like saying free universal healthcare for all, free you can't say free in that sense where you're going to destroy entire industries, because then the powers that be will in some cases move in and try and do something about it, right? Kind of like saying, you want to have a non-interventionist policy, and then the deep state sits down with you and shows you a few never before seen videos of JFK's assassination. So yeah, that's where we're at. So if you want to fix the country's problems, the first thing that a a dictator who believes in freedom, if that makes sense, probably more than a male feminist, you would just strip the franchise of 90% of the population by just, and you wouldn't even have to be explicit. You could just say, well, you got to own land. You have to put more in taxes than you take out, right? You have to fit
some sort of community service of some sort. I mean,
you got to have you need to prove
or an incentive to do so.
Yeah, like the Federation in Starship Troopers, you have to prove that you have the right to be. You separate civilians from citizens, right?
Okay, so we're talking conscription. We're talking mandatory military service.
For only certain types of people, like even applying.
Thanks, Amos.
The only free things to teach.
leave it alone.
Just drop it and leave it alone.
That's right.
Yeah, so I don't even believe in universal conscription. Yeah, freedom loving dictator. No.
Well, he is wearing the shades. They look kind of like Gaddafi's shades. So yeah.
No, more like Pinochet.
Need the hat.
No, we just need Pinochet.
Shea Martinell.
No, I just need my helicopter. That's all I need.
There you go.
Right. So, God, what was I gonna say? I don't think everyone should be conscripted because look at the health of the average person.
Well, maybe that would get some of them fat fucks into better health.
Yeah, when we use the expression "carry your own weight," I think a lot of those people couldn't even do that. Well, literally,
like if you made it a way that you can't flunk out of the military and you will fucking pack the gear if it means you got to spend all 4 years in basic, hey, you never know. They might actually lose some fucking weight.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's a compliment or an insult.
What?
I'll be brief over the history of how we met. Before Masculine Geek was even a thought, this is about, I think it's almost gone back 4 years now. TJ and I and Aaron followed each other on our personal Twitter accounts and became friends. I had met Aaron a couple times, and then I organized a battlefield gathering a couple years ago. TJ came up. Yes, and we won't get into how Aaron was a retard. Maple leaves. Twinkle in Vince's balls. That's right. And then, yes. So Twatter brought us all together. So that's where that's how that happened. So that's me being brief.
Yeah. So, anyways, we should have. That's the way to bring back our freedom. Is that, or I don't know. We get a time machine.
We could,
but I've yet to figure out the flux capacitor part, or the Mr. What was the name of the fusion generator? Mr. Fusion. That was it.
Mr. Fusion.
Yeah. Mr. Fusion powers the time machine. The DeLorean is run on unleaded gasoline and always has.
That's right.
Back to the Future 3. Without gasoline, you can't get the DeLorean up to 88 miles per hour.
Exactly. All right. Rob, do your spiel, and then we're going to invite some guests in.
Okay. Subscribe, like, share, comment.
There you go. Sign up for the newsletter.
Yeah, that thing.
Go give generously on the Patreon. You know you want to.
Yeah, that thing too.
Indeed. All right. So I've already invited one guest. We have a slot for 2 more. We're only going to be running until 11 as usual, so you can come on for about 45 minutes or so. Make sure you have a decent connection. If you think you're going to come in on your phone, you're not. That's too annoying. I'm sorry. You have to have a decent connection and a decent webcam. So there you go. Love you guys, but have to have a good connection.
Not that much.
I don't need you out in your car jacking off. John, you wanna come on the show for a little bit? All right. Send me.
Let's hear that sexy voice.
That's right. Send me a DM via Twitter. That's how I'm going to be inviting you. No Aaron action on live cam. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, Amos, you cannot hold your $4.99 over our head. How dare you even suggest, even try to bribe your? You don't bribe your way onto the Masculine Geek Show. But you know what? I will invite you, Amos, because you're a good lad.
Good lad.
And he actually does have a solid connection. At least when he did the 10K, he had a solid connection.
You did, yeah. Let's make sure you. All right, so you're coming in. So Alec, Amos, and John Steele, if he sends me a notification or a Twitter DM.
Yeah.
Well, part of it would be napping, so hopefully you get the napping part. If we had Aaron on. The jerk off part is private, or at least for he. And his wife.
Want it to be private. We don't want to see that shit.
No, nobody wants to see that. The gay hand was enough during the.
The gay hand while he was pouring 2 fingers of booze, calling us homos. Hey, you homos are starting to drink already. As he's pouring, he's got the gay hand.
Hey, TJ.
All right, you know what, Alec? I'm gonna smack you.
Why? What happened?
I sent him the invite. He's like, "Oh, 1 minute. I will not stand for this. I won't sit for it either." God damn it!
Jesus, Alec. Oh, me. Oh, hang on, guys.
Let me look. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of like a cat, when you ignore the cat's all up in your grill doing shit, and as soon as you pay attention, the cat's like, fuck off.
Pretty much, yeah.
Cats are
like that.
Cats are manipulative creatures.
They are.
That's why I have 2 of them.
Yeah, because you need to practice.
I need twice the manipulation.
Twice the pussy.
That's right.
Oh my god.
Who doesn't? That's always been the way I roll.
Yeah.
Okay. Rah.
Wow.
All right, John. There's a link, Johnny boy. Come on in. Are you Kiwi son of a bitch?
Yeah, man, it's been a interesting time with the politics here recently.
Yeah, you guys got fucked over royally.
Well, yeah, the sad thing is, man, do you guys know how parliamentary politics works?
Not really.
It'd probably give me a headache, but go ahead.
I'll give you a brief rundown just to give some background for our situation. But we have parliamentary democracy. So think about it like if your executive branch and your Senate or your Congress were merged into one, and whoever has the majority number of seats effectively forms the government. So you can have multiple parties. So our current government is it actually consists of 3 parties. So the Labour Party, which would be akin to your Democratic Party, they got like 30-something%, and then we had 2 other minor parties. So the Green Party, self-explanatory, and then we had New Zealand First. Now, the interesting thing about New Zealand First is they were considered the furthest right-wing party. So they're actually almost a tempering force in our current government. So they blocked the capital gains tax as an example, but they did not block the recent legislation regarding COVID.
Yikes.
So basically, we just had a law passed that means any police officer can enter your home without a warrant, or any premises without a warrant, to basically do. I've got a screenshot of the thing itself, so I'll share that with you guys. But they can do all this stuff without a warrant, which it's kind of freaky, really.
Yeah, that's not good. Hey, John, how are you?
Hey, gentlemen, how's it going this evening?
It's going well. You sound like you just woke up, or you smoked a fuck ton of cigarettes.
Same difference.
There you go. Nice.
How do I share this with you, Vince? Should I send it on Twitter?
if you could share your screen, if you do share screen and then choose whether it's a tab or an application, that will show up as a guest, and then I will approve it, and it will pop up for everyone to see.
Okay, I think I might just.
Oh god, you're gonna make me do work? What the fuck?
I'll just send you a link. It's gonna because my connection is garbage, so you're probably just gonna see like a giant pixel.
All right, so put it in the private chat.
Yeah, we'll do.
Thank you. What are you up to tonight, John?
TJ, I went to Amazon to download your book. I went to your website first to download it. I can't get the link. I want to read about the Thane.
Oh yeah. 1 second. I can put that in. I'm wondering why the link is having a problem.
Because how woesome it is when a Thane does not have. How did you phrase it?
Not have a king.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want me to share this, Vince? Oh, you already got it.
Yeah. Let me. There we go.
So the sad thing about this is I kind of expected New Zealand First Party to vote against this bill based on just general principle, but they totally just went for it. So, and I mean, I'm not kidding anyone. I think the right-wing party probably would have voted in the same bill if they were in power. That's just how it tends to go here. But yeah, essentially this bill goes away every 90 days unless Parliament votes it back in, but it can last for last for 2 years. So
Jesus.
Fuck that.
Refrain from associating with specified persons. Stay physically distant from any persons in any specified way. This thing is vague as fuck.
It is, It's kind of...
It's open to interpretation based on whoever's in power.
Yeah, way open. Refrain from traveling to or from any specified area.
I'd be interested to see what Chest thinks about this one. I think he's a lawyer or something to that effect. So,
Well, I mean, in Washington State, our governor has said that anybody who gets tested positive for COVID, their entire household is quarantined for 14 days, and that any essential traveling, like grocery, whatever, they're going to have state employees do it for you. And a reporter asked him, "So are you actually going to force them to stay in their house? You're not going to allow them to leave?" And he didn't answer the question directly.
Of course not.
No,
because that means yes.
Could be, maybe.
The thing is, here's
we'll
the thing
see
about
how I feel.
Washington. But this is the thing about Washington politicians.
Right.
They'll never give a direct answer to something until they actually have to answer the question, right? And they'll never. They'll do something else. They'll never actually arrest you. They'll find some other way to indirectly make your life miserable, right? But they'll never actually call the question. I don't think that they will, because that's too assertive.
If you actually answer the question outright, if you hem and haw, then you can keep up with your subterfuge and continue on with your bullshit. But if you try to be reasonable about something that's completely unreasonable, it's not going to work. So you have to smoke screen it.
They want to create the impression that they will, but not say so, because if they do, then they've thrown the gauntlet down.
Yeah,
and it's going to get challenged. But if they say, hem hawing, it gives them wiggle room to say, well, we never said we were going to enforce it.
Yeah, to come up with whatever lie they want to. Well, we never said that. We didn't actually come out and say anything. So whatever we decide to make up abstractly is fine.
I love how in frickin' Washington
we operate on plausible deniability here in politics.
You're like the whole alien theories and stuff.
Well, frickin' in Washington State, they recently decriminalized intentionally infecting someone with HIV.
Christ.
Yeah,
Jesus.
and then but
Every time.
Yeah, God, seriously. and it provides confidentiality stuff, like for 14-year-olds to seek treatment without their parents' notification. So 14-year-olds can get treatment or testing or whatever for HIV, and their parents don't have to be notified at 14. Welcome to Washington State, people.
Wow.
Did you also know that being pregnant is an automatic emancipation from your parents?
Yeah. our state's laws in that regard are just so. I love how also what they deem essential services in Washington State. Construction for a while was deemed is still considered non-essential. It's just being permitted under certain circumstances. But if you want to go get an abortion, that absolutely needs to happen right now, because God forbid, women actually take care of their children. It's for the children.
Jesus.
Oh God. So yeah, people, if you want to see a state where the policy, well, one, we're moving towards California every frickin' day, I swear. It's yeah. Anyways, I'm trying to
actually, TJ, we both, if people don't know, we both live in Washington State. And I'm torn because there's so much about Washington State I love.
Yeah,
but the way it's going now, like the population and pretty much King and Pierce County are just destroying what is it, 23 counties we got here, TJ?
We got 39 counties, but
39?
A lot of them are just some of them are just not. There's nobody there. Like
right.
Yeah,
and they're just pretty much destroying the state. Like TJ, I'm sure you're familiar with that. Remember the gun law they just passed? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah,
that's like ridiculous. For you guys, I don't know if you know about it, but they have these like weird clauses in the gun law they just passed like a year and a half ago, where they say something like, your gun has to be stored in a safe place, but they don't define it at all, like literally. And they also say you must have gun training. They don't say what the gun training is at all.
No,
like they literally just says you have to have gun training with it, and you have to, and there's no checks for like, did you receive this imaginary gun training or not? You just have to, when you purchase your firearm, you just have to sign and say that you had the gun training. I mean, it's
that's crazy. I didn't.
I play GTA. I'm good to go.
I haven't bought. Well, I have not bought a gun since they passed that law, because I just said, you know what, I'm done. Not only that, but they passed a law before that back in 2014 that says that anytime you sell a gun, it has to be done through a federally licensed arms person, and whenever you're buying a gun, it's got to be done. So, you ever give a gun to a buddy now at this point, or you sell a gun to someone, it's on you. They could go do something, and you're kind of legally stuck. So any gun that was bought prior to that law is probably actually worth more. But yeah, like John was saying, I love my state. I have roots going back here a couple hundred years. Like some of the first settlers were my family, and I love the weather. I love being out. But it's like, at what point do you leave for your own mental health? Like because going out first of all, you go out in the middle of nowhere. I promise you, in this state, there's someone already there, and they don't want you there. Right? Like when you, this is one of the reasons why I really don't like going hiking out in some of these areas where you go back in some of these mountains and canyons, and there's people.
You're just gonna hear them shout like, "Get off my lawn!" with a loudspeaker.
I was
2 miles away.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I was hiking up north off Highway 2 where I live, and part of the trail is on a setback on private land. So I'm technically crossing private land. I'm heading back after hiking 6 miles. I look over across the ravine. I see the guy jogging out of his house heading toward his shed, and he's got a rifle in his hand. So
I didn't know that was you. I'm sorry.
I appreciate that, Ron. Thanks for not shooting me, because I'm like, and I'm completely exposed. I'm just thinking, okay, this is either going to be how it ends or not. But it's like, you start making, you start like taking stock in life. And I was like, I'm just, I don't know. Seeing that's probably
I don't know. That's how TJ ends every story.
I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
I don't know.
I don't get it. Welcome.
Not for nothing.
Oh shit. I don't know, man. I'm definitely I'm kind of in the same boat. I love this country. There's a lot of great things about this country and the people here, but at the same time, a part of me just wants to go and live that nomad lifestyle, be a non-tax resident of every country, and just not pay any tax and fucking cruise around South America and Southeast Asia and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, the difference is
it could be attractive. Yes.
Yeah, the difference is or not difference, but like for me, owning property in Washington State at this point is you're almost in a separate class, like the gentry class, because it's becoming so. I'm just saying, like, it's so unaffordable to own a home. Like when I was growing up in Bellevue, my hometown, you could buy a house easily for $79,000, $80,000. Those same houses are now going for $700,000.
No, you can't go with him. He was brought up from the ranks.
Well, no, that's the crazy thing is you've got people who bought their homes back in like 75 or 85 and they're lower middle class. They bought their homes when they were really cheap.
House
And
was
the other-
like $26,000.
yeah, the guy next door to them is living in a mansion that's worth $2.3 million because they tore down the Rambler that was there and put in a mansion.
And it's built like a piece of shit.
Well, it's just well, some of them are actually they are nice houses, but they do not fit in with the neighborhood, right? It's like it's very clear they got money, right?
Yeah, aesthetically, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and
We just had James Cameron come and buy a fuckload of land in New Zealand. He's moved here permanently. He just bought citizenship essentially, which is it's kind of like a win and a lose because like he's this great filmmaker, but then again he's this massive vegan who makes fucking vegan powder and shit. So
he's a vegan.
I don't know.
I didn't.
Yeah,
realize,
he's a huge vegan proponent, man. He's hugely supportive. He funds a lot of documentaries and etc. Propaganda
other guy was it Thiel? Was it Peter Thiel that got like citizenship in New Zealand in like 6 days?
Yeah, I believe he did too. But if I remember correctly, Peter Thiel is pretty onto it in general. I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah, it's the same thing in the U.S. I mean, you were having John. I don't know if you heard about this too much, but there was that Indian real estate developer guy who was falsely selling U.S. Citizenship like investments to Chinese people, and because the idea was that if you invest like enough money in this country, you automatically get citizenship, or you can apply for citizenship, right? And you can get it. Well, he was
Usually true, actually. It's just a very high ceiling.
Yeah, it's like 50 million, or I can't remember what it was, $50,000, $100,000. I can't remember the number. But the point was, he was claiming that his projects were eligible for that kind of investment when they weren't. And so he was eventually caught and he's been charged and he's going to be sentenced. And I hope he spends the rest of his life in prison. But the idea that you can just throw money at it and automatically get citizenship, to me, that's another thing.
It typically comes with a condition that you're actually investing in either commercial property or some sort of investment that's actually going to generate money for the country. That's usually how it goes.
All I can say is if the guy's name was Antonio Riccelli and he showed up in a pinstripe suit, and just opened up a suitcase full of cash, people would be saying, maybe we might not want to give this guy citizenship because we don't know where this money came from. But apparently we're not allowed to ask questions about that kind of stuff because that's bigoted, right? People coming from other countries that have literally just have cash in suitcases, we're not supposed to ask any questions about where that money came from.
What's up, Amos?
I love it.
What's up?
Oh,
What's going on?
Just wanted to,
how you doing, Amos?
Good.
Well, that
Nothing
practice
much.
of buying citizenship has been going on in Canada forever. Like, I don't know, TJ, if you've spent any time in Vancouver, BC, but I mean, it's basically, 60% of the city is Chinese.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've never been there, but I've been hearing stories, like horror stories, and the same thing with what's going on here in the Puget Sound area, where you have these investors buy up these homes. They outbid people who've grown up there and want to buy a house there. They outbid them by $100,000, and you know what they do to the house? Nothing. They leave it empty. They were doing the same.
It's all part of our plan, man.
It's your fault then. God damn it.
Just accept it, TJ. Fucking hell.
It's like those Indian casinos. I'm only half, but I get like half of the share. So.
Oh, you mean like Elizabeth Warren? So you get like 1/1000th of this?
No, I'm 50%. Like here in Minnesota, if you're part of a Native American tribe, like the tribe that runs casinos,
Right.
you get a profit share. Used to be a real big problem here, but they kind of fixed that with teaching these kids how to spend money.
You're 50% American Indian?
No, I'm 50% Chinese, but I was just saying, since all these investors are coming here, I get a profit share, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Right.
Dude, we had an entire apartment block in Auckland that was before it was even finished being built. It had all the apartments had been sold on WeChat to Chinese mainlanders. So it's hilarious. Like they were all sold. Like I think this was done before we had a law change a few years ago where now only residents can buy residential property.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, the problem is that you've got people from a freaking communist country showing up with tons of money. How do you know they're not spies? How do you know? Like we don't ask any questions about where they're coming from, where the money comes from, right? How do we know it's not the government giving them money, right? I wouldn't be surprised if the CIA was handing out cash if we were allowed to get away with it, but other countries don't let you. Like Mexico, you can't. If you're not,
I'm more inclined to give them the benefit of the doubt, or at least the citizens, because in general they have a pretty good incentive. I mean, if your property goes back to the government after 10 years, is built like shit, I mean, you'd probably want to buy property in a country where you can pass it down anyway. So I would give the majority of them the benefit of the doubt, but there might be some of that.
Well, what they were doing, and they actually banned this by federal decree in King County, where Seattle is. You cannot anonymously buy residential property, which is what they were doing. They were setting up these LLCs, limited liability corporations, that were anonymous. Like they were allowed to, so you didn't know who was actually buying the property. And as it's just kind of it rankles me that kind of stuff is allowed, where U.S. citizens like myself, we got to worry about the IRS. We got to cross our T's and dot our I's, and all this other stuff. And I don't know. At the very least, it's an inconsistent application of law. If you got money, the rules apply to you very differently than if you don't have money.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
If you're not,
I've been looking at residency in a shitload of countries recently. Specifically ones that have territorial tax arrangements. So if you earn money outside of the country, you don't have to pay income tax. And some of them have very low barriers of entry. Like it's Malaysia, for example, is about 200K New Zealand dollars. So you need about that much, and you can get residency there and get a house and all sorts of stuff. So it's quite cool actually how many countries you can just fuck off to.
Well, it's countries
I
you
don't
can buy passports from too.
Yeah, I don't blame the Chinese for doing what they do, because I'm kind of thinking of doing the same thing in the other direction. You know,
the thing is, a lot of guys have said like they want to go to like these Asian countries like Thailand or areas where the government's kind of just leave you alone. That's I get that for a lot of guys. My problem is I would never feel at home or comfortable in it. It's just too different of a culture for me. And the other thing is I would just stick out as a foreigner, like
in a good way though.
100%, man. In a good, novelty works in your favor there. And the thing with like what I'm personally thinking about doing isn't necessarily going there permanently. Like I would never renounce my New Zealand citizenship. Right. I will grow old here for sure. I will buy land here. I'll buy a house here. But you know, in the rest of my 20s and my 30s, I'd like to be, you know, going around the world doing all sorts of fun shit. And it's a lot easier to do that from a base that's somewhere cheaper, where I can come back to, where I can buy a house for you know 1/5 of the cost back home, and essentially be based there and just have a living cost that's so much lower. It just makes sense to have a base there, but I wouldn't want to stay there permanently, and you never know what's going to happen either. They could have a regime change. They could have another Pol Pot or something could pop up anywhere. It just happens without warning, really. So you kind of have to consider it a temporary thing.
Yeah, well, you're also leaving out the most important thing is just there's no white women there.
Oh, there are. Oh my god, dude.
I mean, here's a good question then. Where would you guys go This is more for the Americans in the group here, but where would you go if America went to shit and you could leave? And you had to leave, we'll say even.
New Zealand, baby.
I would I honestly would be really torn because America is such a huge country that there's got to be some area, some people are saying, some of the guys Rob knows would say go to Texas. Other people like it.
Just for the sake of the scenario, if you couldn't go anywhere else in the state.
I would probably
nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
I would probably head somewhere in South America.
Okay.
I would probably go to Chile or some
maybe down to Peru or something.
Yeah, from what I understand, what I've heard from people who've been there, some of those areas are more European than Europe now.
Yeah, Chile has great wine too, so there you go.
And there's actually some areas that
the descendants of Nazis.
Yeah, which country did the Germans go to?
Is that where you want to go?
I would wherever the Germans went through. I would go to that.
Blonde-haired Brazilians.
Argentina and South Brazil, Chile, man. That's where they fucking went.
But I'm just thinking like, there's.
I'm too old for that shit. I'm dying right here in Alabama.
I think I'm with Bacon on this one. I would either have to go to a land down under and go be either an Aussie or a Kiwi, but Australia, they don't like guns, and they got spiders big enough to kill a horse.
Seriously, you dress you up as a kangaroo.
Oh,
Rob, where would you go, Rob?
You can still have
I'm
your semi-auto shotguns and your bolt action hunting rifles. It's
no.
I mean, I've got people.
You can still hunt, which is the most important thing.
Well, and I understand that, but anywhere that wants to kind of curtail my right to own firearms, I kind of have an issue just in principle with.
Acquaintance for you.
And so that's where like Australia, maybe, but like I said, being a Kiwi or an Aussie is one option, but I'm kind of with Bacon. I'm thinking more like probably Eastern Bloc, if that's the case. At least I'd blend in as far as skin color goes.
What about Amos?
No, I'd go to Poland.
Poland.
Have you been there?
My dad's side of the family is Polish. I mean, Taiwan is kind of one of those because I just have plenty of family there.
Jesus, you're all over the map. Fuck.
Yeah.
So have you been there recently, Amos?
No. So my dad's side of the family is Polish, and my mom's side is technically China, but my grandmother escaped the communists and went to Taiwan. So
how did that affect the IQ? I mean, being half Polak and half Chinese.
For fuck's sake. Brutal.
The guy's got it's different. Like it's in school back at
you're good at math, but you can't spell. I mean, how does this work?
No,
how many does it take to screw in the light bulb?
Yeah. What is it? Why do Polacks have green hair? I don't know.
That's pretty funny.
I finally got that joke years ago from the movie A Bridge Too Far, which has Gene Hackman is playing this Polish tank commander, airborne trooper, whatever, and he's being asked his opinion by this British commander. And he says, "General, I am a Pole, considered by some to be smart." Like, say this as if it's this grand achievement. I'm like, as a young kid, I don't get it. And then I grew up, I'm like, oh, I get it. He's saying he's a smart Pole.
My whole Polak side of the family were all farmers, so I don't know much about the IQ on that side.
I mean, your SAT score must have been really funny, like 800 math, 0 verbal. I mean,
0 verbal.
I don't even remember.
You wrote your own name, so you got 150. So
no, I made
he was solving, the equations in his own head on the fly, like the Rain Man. But you ask him, spell the word street.
Well, it's funny. My dad was an English teacher, and I always had a knack for like science and math, but I never really applied myself much. So I was just one of those kids. Like I'd get like a B or a C in a STEM course, but like I'd be more engaged than the average kid, just because I didn't, So it's one of those things. I made the B honor roll, so that's something. Because they have that nowadays.
What
Polish
about Taiwan?
I guess that is. I don't know.
Have you been there recently?
What's that?
Sorry, guys. Have you been to Taiwan recently, Amos?
Last I was there in 2016. I was planning on going there this year. I was like it's a good thing I didn't buy the ticket yet when everything went down. Because it's funny. They've had 30 straight days of no new cases there because they basically locked down all their borders. Like anyone that comes in is immediately quarantined. Anyone that's test positive, quarantined further. They're more strict about how they handle like anyone that breaks certain like quarantines and stuff. So there's a lot of shit that happens there that wouldn't fly here, but you can't argue with the results they're having.
Well, it's easy. Yeah. It's easy when you've got a very small, specific group of people where that's what's so insane about our state is everything's shut down except air travel. It's like, but anyways, yeah, I thought about like let's say America went to hell, already has, yeah. Let's say like I had to leave. I would consider going to Eastern Europe. The only problem I would have there is, I would also I would assimilate like in terms of how I look, but the culture is also very different. Eastern culture, Eastern European culture is very different in terms of the way they think, the way that they view the world, their history. So I don't know. There'd be
some like it'd be a little easier to assimilate to rather than like if you went to an Asian country.
Yeah, that's why I would never really I would never see myself in Vietnam or Thailand or Indonesia or
have you been there though, TJ?
I haven't, but I
found that there was a lot less culture shock than I expected. It was a lot more westernized. Like I don't think it would be as hard as you think.
It's probably just more the culture rather than the environment is very westernized and there's a lot of Western influence.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes.
But the culture itself is so different. Like when I was in Thailand, there was a lot of I was there on a missions trip and there were a couple things that we did that we found out we weren't supposed to do. And it's a good thing we were on people that understood that and didn't report us to the police.
Oh.
It wasn't anything bad. It's just things like okay, when you cross your leg and you have your foot up, the sole of your foot, you don't want that pointed at anyone because that's considered a sign of disrespect.
Wow.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's things like
see, that would create a lot of anxiety because for me, like where I want to be in a culture where I can. I know the norms, but I also can read people. I think that's the biggest thing for me. I want to be able to read people so that I know who I'm dealing with. When I can't read people, it's like you may be the greatest guy in the world, you may be the worst guy in the world, but
wait, never mind. First one, thank you, TJ.
I'll say what?
You like you may be the best guy in the world. Thank you, TJ.
No, my point is like if I'm in a culture
if you say so.
If I'm in a culture where I can't understand what someone's saying, but I can read them pretty well because of whatever, like the way that they express themselves, I can deal with that.
That's your fault, dude.
Jesus Christ.
That
if you don't look, it doesn't count.
handing out the real advice.
No, that was a
very practical. I like it.
Yeah. I was like 20, 21 there. No, I was 20, and we're going through this like night. There's like night markets everywhere. So I'm going through this market, and I'm with my friends, and we're looking around. And it's like it's way more common to see ladyboys than anywhere else in the world. Like. Like more than we have here in the States in some parts, like depending on where you are. I bet like I've never been to places like Austin or anything, but it was like way more. I was walking around and I got winked at and I realized who I got winked at and I was like, all right, like it kind of shocks you a bit.
So is that an insult or a compliment?
I don't
An
know.
invitation.
Yes.
I mean, we
Dude,
were, Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I when I first went to the Philippines last year, I booked an Airbnb in what I thought was the city center of Manila, and anyone who's been to Manila and knows the various neighborhoods, it's a mega city. It's fucking massive. But anyway, I booked an Airbnb in this area called Malate. And I was like, oh, this is close-ish to all the major clubs and like all the bars and stuff. This should be, yeah. And then I showed up and I took a Grab, which is like an Uber, to the Airbnb. And as I'm going up into the building, I was like, fuck, there's a lot of lady boys in this building. Like, shit. And then as we
It was like a convention.
Yeah, man, I go up into the
Jesus.
left and like up to the top and, go to sleep. And next day I go out and met my friend who actually lives there. And he's like, where are you staying? I was like, Malate. And he just started laughing. I was like, what? And he's like, oh, dude, that's the ladyboy district, man. That's where all the ladyboys are.
Jesus Christ.
And
yeah.
it was fucked, man. I saw these Indian and like, for example, I was taking this girl home one night and there was this Arab dude on the lift going up back to the apartment. And he was asking me like, oh, she looks very good. And I was like, thanks, I guess. And he asked me, does she have stones? And I was like, what? And then I I clicked, and then I was like, oh, no,
balls,
no, dude.
man, balls.
Yeah. I was like, no, dude, she's a woman. He's like, oh, wow, okay. And I was like, why, are you into that? And he's like, yeah, I fucking love it. Like, just straight up. Like, these guys have no shame, bro, and they're mostly Arabs and Indians.
Oh my gosh,
That's funny.
We went through the red light district, and there were tons of guys all handing out like menus. There's clubs everywhere, so it's just the whole area is
Like
just
Vegas.
it's just hey, you
menus.
want, but it's just they will shove it in your face almost unless you like full on like either walk away or completely ignore them. We were, because we're on a missions trip, one of the guys wanted to go evangelize to one of these women.
Oh boy.
He goes over
God.
and we watch him. He's talking and she's like kind of doing like a little dancing and stuff, and we couldn't really tell. We just, looks like a woman. And he went over and he thought she was a woman. And then he comes over
inside. Tell me about Jesus.
And then he comes back over. He goes, yeah, I tried to talk to her, but I don't know the language. So I kind of was, a little bit of, I don't know what it's called. Just a lot of body, like trying to talk with his hands almost. And then he came back and he's like, yeah, it's weird how they they move like that. And he goes, yeah, those women are really, really into what they do. And then we were like, hey, I think those aren't women. And he looked at us and he goes, oh man, I can't. Oh Jesus! Like just
Like God, fire and brimstone.
Dude, I went into this karaoke bar in that neighborhood thinking I was gonna like go in. I was like, oh fuck it, if there's ladyboys, at least everyone's gonna be having a laugh. This should be funny, right? I walk in and I just see this massive group of ladyboys sitting in like a circle, kind of talking to each other quietly. They see me, all of them stand up and turn around and they're like, you're here, and just start like clapping. And I was like, what the fuck? I just did a 180 like
Dude, that's
Grandpa
like something
Simpson
out of
on
a
that
nightmare,
meme, fucking-
right?
It
Like
was
you want to
straight
come
up.
back.
Run away.
They got some interesting stuff that happened there. I someone I know that went there said he went into a club once and there was some show involving a ping pong ball being shot across a room without
Christ.
hands or feet.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Dude, I miss midget boxing. I'm really depressed about that. I didn't get to see them in-
Who doesn't?
We bombed the wrong countries in World War II.
I mean, it depends how you look at it. Like you bomb Japan, they have anime and hentai. You bomb Thailand, and what it may have gotten worse.
Yeah, dude, it's a freak party in Asia. I don't care where you go, bro. Like even Hong Kong was like,
oh my gosh,
oh my god, the partying there was just insane. Like the fucking kids there go hard.
Like Taiwan is very westernized, and they have this. They've had this misunderstanding that Americans are apparently these just complete, just let's just say very liberal with everything they do. When in reality, like even now. like America is like one of the more conservative like places
That's
compared
so
to
okay.
the
That just
Asia.
okay. I picked the wrong
That's
day to
fine.
quit drinking. That is the most depressing thing I've heard this year.
Dude,
Because I'm like,
we
oh,
actually
shit,
see
some
America.
other- There's a lot of other
conservative.
things going on, TJ, right now that are a lot more depressing.
this year so far.
no, being told that this is as good as it gets.
Well, not as good as it gets. It's just as good as it is. See?
Okay,
Yeah.
that is even more.
There's a big
that's-
difference. That's true.
It's as good as it's ever going to be for a while, TJ.
It's a couple
Yeah,
months.
see?
Why don't you come
Okay,
inside
I
and
don't
tell
know.
me about your Lord and Savior?
You dirty whore.
Get. I'm building a wall around my. I'm building.
mean,
I'm gonna
around
pull a
your psyche.
Shrek. I'm building an
TJ,
eight-
you're just becoming
like,
a
people-
grumpy old man, aren't you?
He's turning into Aaron, is what's happening.
You,
Yeah.
you guys,
Yes, holy shit.
you
No,
guys,
if I was Aaron, I'd be
clearing.
I'd be pandering my books right. I'd be peddling my books. Buy my books, guys.
Well,
And
you'd
pay me
also
back.
be you'd be taking a lot more breaks to jerk off and nap. So that's for sure.
so I mean, you guys have heard about the crazy thing that Desmond is Amazing Kid, the 14-year-old boy or
Jesus.
whatever. So not to get too much into that, but like that's like crazy.
Fucking
Like,
ridiculous bullshit.
well, yeah, we heard about that like in the last couple of years. And we're like, holy shit, this is like absolute degeneracy, crazy, whatever.
Meanwhile,
That shit's been meanwhile in Thailand, that shit's been going on for years.
That's just Tuesday.
Right.
Because when we were there and like just walking down the obviously trying to be good Christian little boys and not going in anywhere, just kind of watching from the street.
Right.
Exactly. we encountered plenty of underage girls that were like working right alongside their adult counterparts.
Jesus Christ.
They're just out there, advertising and whatever. And but like then we'd find out they're like 14, 15.
Whoa.
And it's most of the time it's just I mean it's such a big industry there. They say it's the happiest country in the world, but for certain reasons, I guess.
For somebody,
I met
anyway.
this creepy fuck in Cambodia. He was this old German guy, and he, like, when I was sick, I was stuck in this hotel, so I couldn't fucking leave. But this guy was telling me about how in Europe, if you want to have sex with a 15-year-old, people frown upon that. They shouldn't frown upon that, but I can come here and I can do it. I was just thinking like, in my head, this guy is fucked.
Europeans that go there looked, because like we were there and we saw this European family, mom, dad, 2 kids walking straight down the red light district, just kind of, and then the kids are just kind of let loose to walk around and look around like it's another day. And I'm like, I mean, I know Amsterdam gets crazy, but this is apparently more than that. So
Jesus.
Because at least Amsterdam,
which of
is
these
indoors.
sick bastards said you wanted to go to Southeast Asia if America goes to hell?
Oh,
I think
no,
I'll
I'd go to
die. I think I'll
Taiwan
die
because I
in
live
America.
Yeah, I'm with John. I'm gonna just put more claymores.
You Americans
on my
are so
property.
funny.
I'm putting claymores on my property, and we're gonna just
Yeah, I'm going
Helm
to take out
deep
as
it.
many people as I can with me. And
Yeah, I'm going to the- I'm going to
hopefully
the
a lot of them are
Alamo.
trannies.
I could tell you some funny stories about it. I mean, even Taiwan is more westernized, and they don't have like red light districts like they do. But you guys ever heard of like themed restaurants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Taiwan for a good time like really just ran with that. Like they would just like anything that could be a theme. They were like, we'll just fucking sell it. And so there were like so many of these pop-ups of just themed restaurants, and they don't really have much of a filter when it comes to like what is proper and what isn't, especially with historical things. So in the early 2000s, they converted it to. In the early 2000s, there was an Auschwitz themed
What?
I knew I was going in that direction.
You guys have heard of it, right?
No.
Wait,
I
where
knew
is
that
this?
was
But I know
going.
the kind of shit you're talking about.
So it was in Taiwan. It got changed into a prison theme.
Oh my God.
So I just love the part where they hand you the soap and they tell you to get in the showers.
No. So here's
Jesus
what they
Christ.
you can find. It's hard to find because a lot of the videos are like it was kind of pre-YouTube and stuff. But you can find some videos. Basically, they went in and what they would do.
They're all filmed in 1945, right? When the Allies liberated the camps.
No, what they did was they would have you wear. You'd go in there and they would have you wear like these obviously very loose fitting like the prison outfits they would wear.
Oh my god!
A black and white stripe, and then there's like with a hat, and then
Does anyone have like pictures? Like they
Did they shave the head?
let me look this up.
Asia is
Jesus Christ.
so entertaining. I love Asia.
Free trade rights. Jesus Christ.
Oh, classic, man.
Come
Okay,
on.
here we go.
Jesus
Here we
Christ.
go. Here we go. Okay. A new Taiwanese restaurant is pushing the boundaries of taste as it invites diners to chow down under the gaze of Nazi concentration camp.
Who the fuck thought that was a good idea?
The Taipei restaurant
Oh,
called
God.
Jail, which opened. Oh, this is from 2000. Yeah, opened last month. Was designed to give customers the experience of eating in a prison. And inside, there's actually a sign it shows in the picture. Like they have the word gas chamber on. Like,
Oh my
inside.
God.
Okay, let me. I'll share this.
Would you like some Zyklon D with me?
I'll share this here.
That's horrendous. Jesus
This is
Christ.
a BBC article from 2000, so it's not going to look the best.
This is the kind of shit that Chinese people do, and I just think it's brilliant. I love it because there's just no shame in some aspects of.
They really
Which is
don't
funny
care.
because it's a shame culture.
You
Right?
got it there. I just clicked the.
Hang on a second. I'm sending a.
Yeah, I want to see this.
Granted, this is the early 2000s article, so it's not the best looking
All right, hang on.
website here. Here we go.
I so wish this happened in the YouTube generation. 'Cause I would be booking a flight.
So basically, they bring you in, you put on the uniforms, then you go into like jail cells. They lock you in and they handcuff you to the table and they serve you food.
They handcuff you to the table.
Yep.
Oh, good Lord! All right,
Wow,
hang on. Let's share
Well,
this.
you know, it's a
This should
good
be
place to
interesting.
find subs, right, Vince?
I can source them from other places, but yes, I imagine it would be.
I bet you can.
So
So what are the? I'm just curious. What do the lampshades look like?
let me make this a little bigger here. Yeah.
I have the link that
Yes, chamber.
Chess sent me as well. Hang on.
Pushing the boundaries of taste.
I'm watching the jail restaurant right now. Holy fuck!
Yeah, let me hang on a second. Let me go ahead and let me.
Look at this. Taiwanese just aren't that aware of this history.
Yeah, they're completely aware.
Murals depict death camp victims bunched together behind. Oh my god!
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
The intern
Fucking hell.
belly from out from the bunk beds, ribs protruding, eyes dead. Oh my gosh.
This is ridiculous.
How edgy could you possibly
The
be,
toilet
right?
of the gas chambers. Look at this. Look at the
Unbelievable.
background there.
Oh my God! What?
Look at the
What?
family that's like,
Oh,
very
Jesus
nice.
Christ! Oh my God!
The
Oh
theme
my-
was
I love
not
this world.
intended to offend customers or show support for the Holocaust.
I can't. That's true. They just do not. Oh my God! They just do.
But
not
here's the
give a
thing, though,
fuck at
too.
all.
So here's another thing. Most Taiwanese can describe in detail the atrocities committed by the Japanese,
Well, yeah,
Hmm.
that makes sense.
but many are unclear about what happened on the other side of the world. Yeah.
Sounds like Americans.
Hey now,
Settle down there, Tim.
Let me.
Yeah,
In
and
America, we know
maybe
all about the
Turkey
6
photos.
trillion. All right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, see, this is the outfit they wear.
Oh my God.
Someone would say they
Epic
should go on the
live
Holocaust
stream.
diet, actually, but
Oh shit.
Oh, look, yeah.
We're made in Germany.
Don Shapiro.
Yeah, a longtime Taipei resident and leader of the city's small Jewish community says Taiwan long inspired, play an active role in the international community.
Oh my God.
Frivolous
God, they're
reference.
everywhere.
They must become more
does he
attuned to
debate
the
people really fast?
sensitivities of other
Oh, here we go.
nationalities.
He actually defends this. Look at this. Frivolous references to the evils of Nazism for commercial reasons only serve to trivialize one of the greatest tragedies of the past century. Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, no, he doesn't.
Yeah, he's not. He's not.
Right. No.
no.
I thought.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I read it wrong. I thought it
Oh,
was
Amos.
it's just for fun.
Yeah. All right, hang on. Let me throw this one up here.
That is the most
the one-
ridiculous thing.
Rob, is that
I've
worth watching
ever-
that video?
Just watch it.
Oh,
All right, let
God.
me share it out. Hang
Just
on.
watch
I'm gonna need more wine.
We'll watch this.
yeah, actually, I
before
think
we sign
even
off.
I need a drink for this. man.
Yeah, get your drink. Jesus Christ.
This is
Dude,
what.
there's so many funny examples of that.
And it got
terrorist.
it got 9 likes.
And 6 million dislikes.
I just want to see the Yelp reviews for it. Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
Whoop.
What did
So-
you do?
What happened?
Hey, it's
Jail.
Amos.
Hit the wrong person.
So yeah, it's called The Jail.
Oh my goodness.
See?
This is fucking too
Oh,
much.
that's right.
Oh
they
my
handcuff them together. That's right.
God. Look at them smiling. Ah, yes, very nice.
Oh wow, it's so exotic and different.
Jesus Christ.
I wonder what the Yelp reviews look like for this restaurant.
Yeah, right.
Well, they like I said, they recently
Fantastic fog, wow.
they recently changed it to just a jail setting and not a.
Look at that guy's
Okay.
face. He's
So
like,
he's
yeah, I
saying-
knew it.
Here's what he's saying. He says, "Oh, I thought it was a very healthy and happy place."
Oh.
He says
So
we didn't.
You speak fluent Mandarin? Amos?
Enough. I just understood. He said, "Oh, I didn't think it was a big issue at all." I thought.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
What?
Baby.
Jesus
Good
Christ.
fuck.
There's a kid.
Wait, who's that up next?
Oh my God.
Is that dude who was on Red Man Group and you're related, Vince?
What?
Oh yeah, man mindset. Yeah, that's just chilling over in the corner, I guess.
That guy's
The
funny.
barbed wire.
What? What is the appeal? That hairstyle, though. Kids menu with colored book.
This is
That Jewish guy.
From the Holocaust, the decor in a restaurant goes way beyond bad taste. It's really the desecration of the memory of the victims. It's a trivialization of the
Shut
memory
down.
of the murder.
oh my God. 666.
Oh my god.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ. On that note,
At some point, like, you have to just admit we live in a movie, man. Like, this shit is not real.
Aren't you glad I came on?
oh my God. Thanks.
Hey,
You're
it's
never-
famous Amos.
If we haven't got it taken down from YouTube yet.
But seriously, every time I hear the phrase "essential worker," I keep thinking of that one-armed guy from
Seriously.
Schindler's List.
Yeah, seriously, dude. Seriously. I was like,
I'm an essential worker for Oscar Schindler. Look at the snow. Look at the snow.
Oh, too funny. All right, gentlemen, it is now that time. It is 2 minutes after 11, and I want to thank everyone for joining us, coming into the chat, coming on to the panel area. You gentlemen were a regular hoot tonight. And Amos, thank you.
Gas.
You were, yeah, you were definitely a gas. Thank you. Jesus
The
Christ.
bad taste episode.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to title this one after it compiles. We'll see. Whatever works best for the YouTube algorithm. All right, so Rob, let's do some housekeeping. Rob, where can people find you?
RobSays.net.
Excellent. TJ.
TJMartinell.com.
Fantastic. Amos.
Shit. 10K podcast.
What's it called?
The 10K Rum podcast.
So if anyone Googles that, they'll come up with your website and shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we don't have a website. I mean, I started up a blog, but we're working on that.
All right, cool.
Hey, Nick named the episode. He got it.
We're going to help. There you go. I like that. Let's put that on there so I can remember.
That's right.
All right. John, aside from your Twitter presence, do you have anything else you want to plug, or is that just it?
Well, you can go to John_Steele99 on Twitter, and I also have the John Steele Show on YouTube.
Oh, no shit. Okay. All right. Are there other John Steeles, or is there a specific way you?
Well, it's just the John Steele Show.
The John Steele Show. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. And Alec, yourself?
Yeah, man, just on Twitter at this point. A Chickerfield or chilling at your mum's place.
Go to your mom's place. I almost didn't catch that. Like, wait a minute, what? That sounds kind of cool.
Well, it is. Let me tell you.
Oh,
Hey,
whoa.
you need to look and see if that name's available for a fucking website.
Chilling at your mom's place.
Surely
Yeah,
not.
it's probably not.
He gives her the most memorable showers.
Apparently, yes.
Crazy.
Works at the restaurant. Jesus Christ. All right. Well done, sir. That was pretty funny. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. We may or may not do a rogue broadcast this weekend. We'll keep you posted, or you'll get your notification at the last minute. Until then, keep the fires burning, keep moving forward. Don't take any wood nickels, and get off my internet lawn.
Bye.